Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you're watching this live, thank you for that. If you are watching this or listening to this later, appreciate that as well. Please remember that we do post these shows at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We put them there. They're free. There are audio and video versions. There it is, for your viewing pleasure. If you don't have time to make these in the morning, or if you like to listen to them later, please check those out. We do appreciate it. Traffic this morning: heavy delays on I-12 westbound, all the way from Millerville to Juban Road. Looking at an accident just after Millerville. Obviously, traffic is starting to stack up on 4-H Club Road, as well as River Road and 190 as folks try to use 190 to get out of Livingston Parish into Baton Rouge. 64 looking relatively clear until you get on, if you take a left and go on to Greenville Springs after you cross in East Baton Rouge Parish. Major delays on Greenville Springs. So right now, that accident causing a lot of traffic this morning, a lot of backup. Please keep that in mind for your morning commute. It's currently 50 degrees. It's going to get up to 77. Going to be another warm one today. Going to be another warm one tomorrow. However, we are going to get some rain starting tomorrow. That is Friday, which is going to bring in some cooler weather. Definitely much colder over the weekend. As we kind of had this warming trend, now the cold's going to hit us again. It's going to stay cold for a few days into next week. So going to be a chilly weekend, especially for the LSU football game on Saturday against Arkansas. The smoke yesterday that covered much of Livingston Parish was caused by Weyerhaeuser. If you don't know who Weyerhaeuser is, they are a large-scale Timberland company. They own roughly, as of the 2013 master plan, they have sold some land since then, but they own roughly 73% of the land in Livingston Parish. They are the largest landowner, unimproved, in Livingston Parish by far. Yesterday, they were burning about 2,000 acres that had been filled with underbrush and that sort of thing off of Gum Swamp Road. If you don't know where that is, it's South 63. So if you go to the Livingston exit, take a right, go down about 2 miles, Gum Swamp Road is going to be on your left. And they were given the permit by the Department of Agriculture and Forestry to do that controlled burn. I think it got, 2,000 acres don't just burn real quick, even with a controlled burn. Very interesting to see how much smoke did come out, especially in the Livingston, French Settlement, South Denham Springs area. But smoke was seen and experienced as far as Choctaw, on sort of the northern side of Baton Rouge, and on Airline Highway on the south side of Baton Rouge. So had a much larger effect, I think, than they had believed in the beginning. But it was permitted. We are waiting for a response from Agriculture and Forestry as to what their process is on that. But very interesting situation. We hope everybody is okay. We know that roughly around 4:30, as quickly as the smoke came, winds kind of blew it out. But it was all over Livingston Parish for quite a while, and in some places very heavy. The sheriff's office is seeking 3 suspects who robbed a Denham Springs area convenience store yesterday morning. No footage, no pictures. They just the details are the 3 entered. One held the clerk at bay while the 2 others stole money out of the ATM. Again, no pictures, no video as of yet. They're just wanting to know if anybody has any tips on that. The OMV and DMV offices will remain closed again this morning. Potential for them as computer systems become more available to open up starting around lunch. But if you haven't been able to make it and you can't make it this afternoon, all bets are off probably for this week. Hopefully they'll be open beginning next Monday. Of course, these remain closed because of the Russian hack into the Louisiana state computer system, wherein they placed ransomware, which surrounds data or software or services and demands, encodes itself and demands a payment for it to be removed. The state has not paid anybody. They are still working on getting some of that ransomware pulled out or pushed out or destroyed. It takes time. We will see what happens going forward and if they begin reopening those motor vehicle offices. The sheriff is looking to bond out $8 million and borrow that money to build a new facility in Walker next to the current training facility he has next to the Woodside landfill. Currently, there are 2 double wides there as well as a warehouse and a shooting range. It's all very small and compact. He's looking for the $8 million to try to expand that area with a multi-purpose building that could hold up to 300 first responders in a disaster. Could also host training sessions. Right now, training continues to be an increased requirement every year for the Sheriff's Department, for any law enforcement and first responders. He's looking for a place to save that travel money and all those expenses and keep those trainings here by bringing the training sessions to Livingston Parish. So in that regard, he could also bring money to the parish and save a lot of money at the same time. Also, there'll be a gymnasium inside the building. Right now, the Sheriff's Patrol book requires that anyone on the road or anyone out in the field must be physically fit. So he pays for gym memberships out of the sheriff's tax money. This would save all of those gym memberships. So he's looking to save some money with this. Also, some of the smaller schools would be able to hold their graduation in the training center. So there's a lot of benefits to it that he's thought out. He said that $8 million was the number that they settled on, that they believe they could afford while still providing services for the parish and that kind of thing. So it will be interesting to see. He'll be having a public meeting in the future. This is just to see if he will get permission from the bond commission to bond out this money and borrow it for the construction. He's not even entirely sure what the building is going to look like just yet, or how big it's going to be. So we'll keep y'all apprised of that, but the process has started. The Louisiana Department of Education awarded 4 local elementary schools with honor roll for early childhood programs that included Eastside Elementary, Freshwater Elementary, 7th Ward Elementary, and Grace Creek Elementary. So congratulations to those schools. The school board's going to meet tonight. There's a lot on the agenda. There's a lot going on. They'll be pulling forward the cell phone, stricter restrictions. So let's not do that. The more harsh restrictions on cell phone and electronics use for outside electronics at school between 6th and 12th grade. That was passed in committee, so it'll be interesting to see if they adopt it. There will also be discussion tonight about the superintendent's evaluation. It's something that they baked into the most recent contract. It's nothing out of the ordinary. They've created a rubric for it, and they will be discussing it tonight with the full board with the intention of accepting it, I'd imagine. Not entirely sure if they will or not. Also coming up tonight there's a contract for Delia Taylor and Taylor Media Services. In the past, it's kind of been a per assignment kind of thing. This will be interesting to see what kind of retainer they keep her on, or if they continue to pay her on a per piece rate. So that's what's going on with the school board tonight. A few other smaller stories, but those are kind of the big ones. David Gray will be with you at the school board. You can follow him on Twitter or on Facebook. With regard to the Parish Council, I will be at the council tonight. There's a couple of introductions. There is an Hazard Mitigation Grant Program acquisition on the books. So those are continuing to roll through. However, there are 2 things that are of interest. One is grinder pumps are back. It's taken a few months for the language to get settled out, trying to remove real estate agents, trying to figure out who can be held accountable for when a grinder pump is installed improperly and that sort of thing. So we're supposed to get a public hearing tonight for the final version of this. We'll see what it sounds like, see what they end up proposing here tonight at the Parish Council. I will be at the Parish Council. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter or look for our Facebook page. I usually post a little picture of the Livingston Parish Council, and then I kind of post updates as we go through the meeting. Excuse me. Also on the Parish Council agenda tonight is the budget. The 2020 budget will be discussed tonight. Probably not adopted. Not enough time to look at it. It's coming late this year. There was a rough draft in October of last year, and of course now we're a week away from Thanksgiving, and they're just now getting the budget. I know that there were some parish councilmen who were disappointed in that. Going to try to be looking through that as quickly as possible, thinking about what kind of changes they want to make, and then moving forward from there. So again, that'll be the Parish Council tonight at 6:30 p.m. in the Parish Council chambers. There is also an ordinance committee meeting as well as a finance committee meeting before the regular meeting. Southeastern plays Nichols tonight for the Southland Conference Championship. It is in Hammond. It's going to be at Strawberry Stadium tonight, 7 p.m. I believe Rob's going to be there. I'm not sure. He might have a basketball game to go to. But he's either going to be at basketball or he's going to be at the Southland Championship. But the Lions are playing Nichols, the Colonels, for the Southland Conference Championship. So good luck to Southeastern, who started the year as not necessarily a media darling, very much, I think they were 8th, projected to be 8th in the Southland Conference, and here they are competing for the championship. So that's why they play the game. So congratulations to the Lions, and beat them up. Also, tomorrow night, our football show for this week, wrapping up 2 seasons and continuing another, will come out today. Our podcast tomorrow night. Walker is on the road at Acadiana. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but it is, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, and we'll talk about a little more here in a second, it's going to be rainy and cold, so it's going to be an interesting game for the Wildcats, who are usually trying to be, like the warm weather, like to be explosive. Last but certainly not least, Arts Council of Livingston Parish has a current featuring their current book with the current display called Preserving the Culture. That is on Hummel in Denham Springs. It's talking about the culture of Livingston Parish. Has a very photo-heavy kind of display, very interesting display, and kind of an interesting project that they're doing, trying to pull together all the little parts of Livingston Parish, and there are a ton of little parts, ton of little cultures, a lot going on. I mean, you can talk about South versus North, East versus West. I mean, you could talk about French settlement versus Springfield. I mean, everybody's a little different here. So it's a lot of fun. It's a very interesting display. You can check that out again. It's called Preserving the Culture at the Arts Council of Livingston Parish. One last time, there is an accident on I-12 westbound just past Millerville. It's caused delays all the way back past Juban Road. That has, of course, caused delays in other areas. Juban Road at 190 is heavily backed up. Please be mindful of that. As well as 190, 4-H Club Road, and River Road in Denham Springs are all backed up as folks are trying to get out of there. There is some minor delays on 64 heading into Central, with heavy delays on Greenville Springs if you take a left there. It's currently 50 degrees. 77 is your high today, 62 your low. It is going to get cloudy later in the day, and then we're going to be moving into a cold front tomorrow with some rain. Again, that's going to cool it off over the weekend pretty heavily. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. If you ever miss any of these shows, you can always check them out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print. We also have an app. Thanks again for joining us. Please try to stay warm this morning, stay cool this afternoon, but try to stay warm over the weekend. Again, David Gray will be at the school board tonight. I will be at the Parish Council. Keep an eye on that, and we will be back in the booth tomorrow with a lot to talk about. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.